Is your sleepless god back with a new video of what a Midoriya had big chill? Uh, let's get started. So last time we left off, there was a secret, almost a secret organization that snuck into Nezu's office and heard about where not Midoriya, Percy and Annabeth now are living. As we now have four characters, new characters one's called Bob, who has super strength and super abilities. One's called Anna, or Annie for short usually. She has ice powers. One's called Jericho, and he can turn into dust and dust particles. And one is called, one second, fuck, I'm terrible with names. So it's I'll know it later. Just give me a couple seconds. But these three units they found the place where Midoriya is now living, where Percy's now living, as they are about to enter the cave. As also last time we left off, the little girl was strapped down with the man with a needle in his hand, ready to stab, as the police force broke into the house with guns, as another green-haired, more younger-looking woman pulls out a shotgun, double-barrel shotgun, points it into his face, and said, "What the fuck did you do with my daughter?" And now, let's start the video. As we have Jericho and Annie right now looking at the ice wall, as it is, as Jericho's like, "This is impossible to get through." As one second, I know his name. Just give me a second. We'll think about it later. But he's like, "Yeah, I know, but we gotta get here some way, or we gotta come back in the morning, and that's risky as shit, because if we do, Pro Heroes can already be here, taking the aliens away, blah blah blah, you already know." And he's like, "Do you want me to like use a barrier up around the hole?" As Bob busts through it, as he's like, "No, don't do that. It'll be way too noisy, number one, cause distraction, plus two, we don't need you to use as much ice power as yet until the main fight, because it might be a massive battle." As the whole team hears like a rustling, and the team captain looks over, and as Jericho's like, I get it. As he turns into dust, and he grabs all the team, as he puts them into like the bushes area. So when he puts them into the bushes, one of the team heroes group start walking up, as they start looking around, as they walk up to where the cave is. They're like, "So everyone got the plan. I'll burn for the hole. We'll start talking to it peacefully and try to bring it back to Nezu without getting anything injured or anything like that." As the entire group says, "I got it." As you see one of the guys start heating up his hand, as you see like this yellow spot, as he starts heating up his hand into the wall and melts it, as you see like this almost circular melting point, as he's like, "Okay," as he starts blowing on his hand a little bit, like, "That was a lot easier than I thought it was." As you hear, I finally remember the fucking name, Mikey, say, "Yeah, it was." As you look behind him, as he puts a device on his chest, as he like electrocutes him, and he like his entire muscle just spasms and falls down. As he's like, "Fucking stupid ass Pro Heroes, never type in a double sneak up attack." As Mikey, Jericho, and Annie all sneak in, as they all start looking around, as they're like, "Damn, this cave is actually pretty nice for, a cave." As they hear a massive boom, as they look at the door, as you see like Bob trying to like shove his head through the tiny hole, as all of them are just like, Bob, what the fuck are you doing? Just stay out there and tell us when like you scream, yell, do anything to tell us that they're pro heroes. As Bob like grunts like, okay. As Bob like sits down, as you hear like this massive thunk, and he's like, shh, be quiet. As they're like, okay. As they start switching around a little bit, as Jericho whispers, hey, guys, look over here. As not Jericho, Annie and the both of them walk over there. I don't know. Bro, sometimes my brain has an aneurysm and we gotta just they both walk over there and he's like what, as Annie like starts slipping as Jericho grabs her and like pulls her off, as you see like this little almost cliffside, as you see like this massive like almost like a ravine or something like that, and like this massive almost like hole, as you see the massive drill, as like Jericho's like kind of like winks over to it, and he's like he's like no, as Annie and both of them just like no, as it's like, first off, we're not gonna have enough time, and second off, where else will we keep that shit? It's like, I'm not taking back the entire drill, but what about the drill piece? It's like, the drill piece is made out of almost titanium steel alloy mixed with other metals that are more valuable than I can expect, and I can't believe they left it down here. So first off, no, and second off, we got a job to do. As they both walk back into the cave, as they start looking around for anything they can get through, as Mikey's like, I got it. Okay, so I need you to. He's talking. He's like, Jericho. Like, I need you to turn your hand into sand, and I want you to start spinning the sand around as fast as possible. As Jericho's like, yes, and I need you to shove it right at the door. As Jericho's like, what would that do? It basically acts like a tiny drill almost and starts shaving the ice down. As like Jericho's like, fine. As he starts like spinning his hand, as like you see like almost like this dust clouds start to come over, as like and now his entire hand start turning into dust as it starts spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning, as he's like shoves his hand, as you hear like this tiny like start shaving through the ice. As he's very close, as you hear boom, 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 as he's like, fuck. As you hear like this grunt noise, and he says, heroes. As Bob's like, heroes coming up. As you hear like, you see Bob get like smacked with something like ice or like fire or something. And he's just like, ugh. Okay, guys, we gotta finish this mission. Bob, as you hear like all secrecy is out, Bob, can you deal with them? As Bob's like, yes, I am strong. As he like runs down the hill, as you hear like smashing of feet, as you hear Annabeth and Percy instantly wake up from this, as both of them look over at each other and say, as Annabeth says, Plan C. He says, I was hoping for Plan D, but not tonight. As Annabeth, it's like even the most stressful situations, fucking jokes. He's like, that's how I get around, man. I don't know how you don't notice. As both of them turn invisible and they get on that little cliff edge where they were before, as they all like lean down, as they're both hearing of the drill, and he's like, as you hear like the sand drill finally finish the last click, as they push into the ice, as they look into the cave, as they're like, no one's here, as like Jericho says no one's here, as like Mikey's like, no one's there. So we did all of this, risk our entire life for nothing. As like Jericho's like, not for nothing. The drill. As Annabeth and Percy hears this and just says, the drill. As they both like nod their head. As they both secretly fly down, still turning invisible. As they get into the drill, as it's like, how can we use that thing? We don't even know how it works. As they hear this almost like slicing thing, as they're like, as they run out to where the little edge is, as they see the drill turn on and start turning left and start going through the rock and quarry. As they're like, as they're like, what the fuck are we gonna do? As Annie's like, she tries to use as much freezing power as possible to start freezing the gears and stuff like that. As the gears just break off the ice, as Jericho's like, shit. As he's like, Mikey, you get all the plans ready and get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna see if I can shut off the drill's engine or beat up whatever is using it. As Mikey's like, yeah, dude, no, we start as a team, we go as a team, we're leaving. As Jericho's like, bro, I gotta see this. As you see him like turn into dust, as you see like dust clouds almost forming, as you see it like almost like start circling the drill. As Percy and Annabeth are looking around, as they're like, well, this is gonna be a little bit of fun. As Annabeth says, yeah, if you're a fucking psychopath, as he like pulls a lever, as you see it like slowly start turning down, as you see Percy start freezing the ice, freezing the sand particles almost, as they start freezing it, as it slowly starts freezing Jericho, as he almost completely turns into ice, as entire body stops moving, as you see Percy just smash the entire ice wall with one punch, as you see everything crumbles to the ground, as Annabeth shoves the drill down, as you see him just mine straight down, as you see Annie like one tear drop from her face, as she like drops on her knees and is like, Jericho, you fucking idiot, why do you have to like fucking leave us like this? As you see the little like a small amount of dust clouds start forming, as you see Jericho like form back into a normal body, he's like, okay, as like you see like small puffs of like frost almost come out of his face, like, okay, not that ever again. As you hear almost like this big boom, as they look behind him, as they see Bob, who pushed like it seems like his body got punched through the ice wall and is slammed into the other one, as he looks over and he says, Bob cannot fight anymore. As one of his eyes starts to droop, as he just passes out, as you see a bunch of pro heroes looking at the group, as they all look at him, and he says, as you see all three of them just stick their hands up and just say, we surrender, no, we surrender, we see that we're outmatched, as they all get like quirk diminishing handcuffs all placed on them, as Bob gets bigger ones, as Bob's getting lifted up by a couple pro heroes actually. Like it takes a good 3 to 4 pro heroes to lift the entire Bob. The entire Bob. The thing that I probably won't say ever. As all the pro heroes start looking around the cave for evidence of them, as they see the massive hole that the drill left, and they're like, what are the fuck are we gonna tell Nezu? As they all kind of come back together, as it shows Percy and Annabeth. As Percy and Annabeth are mining through the caves, as they're like, as Annabeth says, I told you, things will happen. As she cranks another thing, as she turns the wheel a little bit, as the mining thing goes a little bit left, as they hit a iron vein, as they stop, as it's like Percy's like, yeah, I know you told me, but still, we had a good options, and still, after all of that, as he clonks on the drill, he's like, we still have options. We do not have to worry about food as much anymore, plus because we now know how to use it, because of your clever entry, we can now not have to worry about too much food at all. As Annabeth says, do not flatter me with your insights. I am not going to be moved over, as she sticks up her head a little bit, as Percy's like, I know, but still, as he sits up a little bit and looks Annabeth straight in the eyes, that's a 1 in a million chance, plus me and you know how to fight. Those guys were completely nothing. We only ran away because we didn't know their abilities, and we know one of them. Sand. Control of sand, probably, and to write that, we just have to freeze him. Simple as that. One of them looked like almost the brainiac of the project, and we have to, help with that. As one of them also looked like they was having ice quirk like us, but not as much control of it, and it also seemed like she was also freezing her own body while doing it. As Annabeth says, I see you're very perceptive. As he's shrugs, he's like, I have to be to fix this group. And then it's like, hey, take that as a freaking insult. You know I'm as smart as you, or even smarter. As Percy smiles and says, yes, but not as good with quirks as I am. As gosh. As we meet into a meeting room with Nezu and all the pro heroes that were there, as he says, you got all the buildings and everything marked off, saying it is off limits, and we have every investigator in the world looking into it. As all the pro heroes are nodding their head yes. Plus, you have you have the 4 of them in custody. As they're kind of. As Nezu says, what do you mean by kind of? Well, they're not really in custody because they're not really doing anything bad at the time that we met them, but they are in our custody to see if they know any knowledge about the creature. So, what you're meaning is the law doesn't have anything on them, but we have suspicions to uphold. As the people are like, yes, as you see this massive grain go on Nezu's face, as he's just like, oh, well, that's going to be interesting. As you see it switch forms one more time, as the green-haired man is in prison right now. But not like a normal, select prison. It seems like it's a straight dungeon. As you see the green-haired woman lay down a tray, put her shotgun down, as she says, tell me everything you know and everything you did with my daughter and Midoriya. As you hear the man start laughing as he says, Midoriya, you mean that useless piece of junk? Send him off a cliff. And you should be happy. As you see the woman smack him in the face. As the man starts chuckling, as the woman stands up, grabs her shotgun, puts it on her hip. She starts walking out and he says, you never knew how to clean up your own messes. As this is where we're ending it off. So I have a question for you guys. Do you want me, what do you want me to bring back? So, I'm going to bring 3 options. Do you want me to bring back, what if Asta? What if Asta storyline? What if Midoriya was Venom and Carnage storyline? Or what if Midoriya got betrayed storyline? So if you want any of those 3, just put Asta in the comments, put Venom and Carnage in the comments if you want that one, and put Betrayed if you want the Betrayed storyline. See you guys next time. Goodbye.